Morning, Mark the Do Something guy here again. And as you can see behind me, this lake's froze. This is the first ice fishing trip of the 24-25 season. And hopefully the ice is thick enough. I haven't been on it yet. I've got an axe because I don't have a spud bar to check. And I'll also make sure I have my ice picks on. Got both of them. And also I've got a Garmin watch that has tracking on it just in case. But it's time to get on the ice. I'm excited. Let's go see what we can find. So I just walked out here a little ways, checking with the axe as I went, and got out here to where there's a little bit of a change in the ice here. You can see that line there. Anyhow, that change on the ice on the other side of it is still 6 inches of ice. So I'm going to go ahead and check a little bit more as I go out, but I'm thinking that this is generally going to be thick enough. Let's get to. So the first hole I punched right here is about 4.5 feet deep, and I think I'll try this for just a minute and see if there's anything cruising close to the shore. So I just went all the way across the lake checking with the axe as I went, and the thinnest ice I found was about 4 inches, maybe a little over, and the thickest on the far side looks to be about 8 inches. Also, as I was going along, I noticed that I could see the bottom at one point out about halfway, or about a third of the way, I guess. When it dropped off over there, I've got my axe kind of marking the edge of that drop off. I'm going to head over that direction and see if I can fish that drop off, see if there's any fish over there, and find something that's a little deeper than 4 feet. I'm at spot 2. And I've got 2 rods out. I've got one that's just on a dead stick, the jig on it, and then I'm using a Swedish pimple here and actively jigging with that, and we'll see if we can find anything. So let's take a moment here and talk about ice safety, especially first ice. Early ice can be some of the absolute best fishing of the year, and that's why so many people are trying to get out on the ice as soon as they can. Way too many people fall through the ice every year, and it's because they're not being safe about it. And I don't want me being out on the ice early to think that, or to make people think that you know, I'm being reckless or crazy with it. And no fish is worth your life or your gear. You know, it can be very rewarding if you do it safely. A few things to make sure that you're doing to be safe. First thing, make sure you let somebody know where you're going. If you have access to an InReach, a Garmin watch, something where people can track you, give that to a loved one, your spouse, your girlfriend, your mom, whoever it needs to be. Next thing you need to make sure that you're doing is that you're checking the ice as you go. And I mentioned earlier, I don't own a spud bar, but I take an axe out with me when it's early ice, and I check every few feet when it's real thin, and I'll spread that out as the ice gets thicker and I can see that it's strong. Few other things is, anytime you see a change in the ice structure, make sure you're checking that. That's one of those changes in ice that you always check both sides of. Or if you can see like chunks, big chunks of ice where it's maybe been wind blown, definitely check that, because you'll have 3 or 4 or 5 inch slabs that are only connected with a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch of ice, and so you can step on one of those slabs of ice and it'll break through. Another thing is, you can see here I've got my ice picks handy. They're real close. This is spot number 3, and maybe the last spot on this lake, because I'm not seeing anything. Started in 4.5 feet of water, then I moved to the 10 to 12 feet of water, and here where I'm at, this is actually 30 feet of water, and I've been jigging here for a minute and haven't seen a flicker of anything on the fish finder, so we'll give it a little longer and see if we can find something. Otherwise we might try and change lakes and see what we can find there. So I wanted to take and show you guys something that's really cool that's going on here on the ice. See all these white dots? I don't know what else to call them, but ice flowers. Well, that's going to be it for this lake. Never marked a fish. Fished there for a couple of hours, so I'm going to move on to the next spot. Next place I'm going to go to is really a big lake, quite big lake, several miles long, so we'll see if there's any ice that's safe on it or not. Well, I just made it to the next lake, and it's not frozen at all. Looks like I'm out of luck on ice fishing this big lake today, which I thought probably was the case, but that's all right. It was still fun to get out, and remember, when you're going out on the ice, make sure you do it safely, and have a good time. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.